The Milwaukee Brewers are making moves, and we have multiple huge Brewers trade updates here today, going over as well what this means for one specific third baseman currently on this team, as well as multiple names being linked to the Milwaukee Brewers via trade as a replacement. We're going to be breaking it all down here in this video, going over everything that we have in this article. Before we do jump into it though, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. If you're looking for all of your Milwaukee Brewers news, as we're just over a week until the trade deadline, things are heating up, and they are heating up fast for the best team in the MLB. You won't want to miss it. I'm going to have it all here for you guys. But let's jump straight into this here. And I first wanted to go into the quote, going over what the Brewers are currently looking at in a trade to add to the left side of this infield. And this comes from Jackson Roberts on Sports Illustrated. Said they would like to add offensive upgrade at shortstop, where Joey Ortiz has struggled, as we know, and they've been linked to two speedy Marlins infield in Xavier Edwards and Otto Lopez. Now, we're going to be going into both these players here, but I wanted to first talk about Joey Ortiz for a bit and what this means for him as the current Milwaukee Brewers shortstop. And Joey Ortiz, we know, hasn't had the best season as of this far, with a pretty lackluster 217 average and a 589 OPS. Really not the best way to start this off, although he's not been the worst possible player that the Brewers team could have had. Where the Brewers currently are and where we currently stand, it would be very beneficial to get as much as we can into this lineup. And even though Joey Ortiz has not really been necessarily a big drop-off in this team, still playing when he needs to, playing to the level, but a little bit less than what we would like, we need to get these positions up. We need to get everybody going on a top level if this Brewers team wants to continue to be the best team in the MLB. Now, of course, as I mentioned, Joey Ortiz is a guy that, if he stays there, and of course, if he is a starter for this team, it doesn't necessarily hurt the team as much as it could benefit getting someone else. And I think that's where we're going to talk about Otto Lopez here in a bit in specific. And of course, I want to jump into him first when we do get into it, but I want to pull up this as well. When we go and take a look at Joey Ortiz as well on the stats and his kind of defensive style of game, he's also not one of the guys that's really going to highlight you on the defensive run saved either at shortstop. So although we are seeing Joey Ortiz here being a guy in this team who is just kind of holding up the position, a move needs to be made on the left side here. And we've mentioned Eugenio Suarez in a video earlier today. Be sure to go check that out. But when it does come down to it, when it does kind of get into the realm of where the Brewers need to go, they seem to be looking for solely, and now I don't want to say just that by itself, but at the number one move that they need to make for this deadline is to add to the left side of the infield. And that, of course, will come with a few movement on the inside of things. But when we do get into and kind of jump into Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards here, there are many options here, specifically from those two players that they bring to this Brewers team. Now, I want to pull this up before we kind of do jump into it to kind of highlight both these players in specific. The shortstops are highly intriguing. Edwards is a contact hitter who can rack up stolen bases, 47 since the start of last season, which obviously is a great look so far, while Otto Lopez provides a little more thump with 11 home runs and plays excellent defense at the both middle infield spots. Now, Otto Lopez, as I mentioned, is a guy I'm probably leaning a bit more towards because he has that little extra bit of power. Still not known for his power, but when you're looking at a guy just like Eugenio Suarez, if you don't get on him and if you miss on him, a guy who's getting, 36 home runs right now, I believe, he's going to be a guy that is solely power. When you get a guy like Otto Lopez, bring him in, has that power, not as much, of course, as Eugenio Suarez, but has the mix of everything that you're looking for, rather than just one thing in specific. And, of course, Otto Lopez, only a few years here in the MLB from the Miami Marlins, going to the Toronto Blue Jays, had a few kind of years there, and has shown really what he's made of. And we have now a good enough look to be able to go and kind of assume what these two players will do here at the MLB level. And I do want to pull up one quote here from Jim Bowden of The Athletic to really emphasize the point of looking for the left side of the infield here. They say the Brewers are focused on improving the left side of their infield, either at shortstop or third base, with an impact bat. So, as I mentioned, going from Eugenio Suarez to Otto Lopez or to Xavier Edwards, it is a bit of a drop-off from power there, but you're not missing out on it completely with a guy like Otto Lopez. And obviously, he's been playing pretty well this season, a 248 batting average. Not necessarily, the best that they could possibly go out and after, but when you're looking at a 709 OPS as well, 10 stolen bases, not even the slowest guy there, and even 11 home runs for a guy like Otto Lopez, who, is not necessarily known for his power and can play up the middle on both sides, it's definitely more of a utility than having that, kind of extra run, or extra kind of fielder there on shortstop, third base, wherever you want to play him, of course, because there are options there. And, Otto Lopez maybe could slot in at third if need be for this Milwaukee Brewers team. But when you're looking at a guy like Otto Lopez, playing, of course, as I mentioned, second and short, 5'10", 185, he's kind of the build that, has that little bit of power when you need it, got the speed when you need it. He really just kind of checks all the boxes that the Brewers are looking for right now without having to give up a whole lot of assets from internal, whether that be pitching prospects, whether that be really anything that we're seeing, especially along the lines of the Eugenio Suarez trade. It seems like Otto Lopez right now is one of the best players they can get for value, and specifically in this deal for the Miami Marlins. Now, I did want to pull up the infield before we do go over to Xavier Edwards, because when we do look at it, of course, we can't forget Caleb Durbin, who, as I mentioned in the last video as well, would not be replaced if Eugenio Suarez is added this team. There's options on shortstop, of course, Bryce Turang on second. That could be an option to move there. There's lots of options that the Brewers are going to be able to get with any possible move, in this realm of Miami Marlins and the Brewers in specific, especially these two here. Is there a world that they kind of package these two together to get them and bring them into Milwaukee? I don't necessarily want to say that. I think that's a much harder thing to kind of go about and try and visualize without giving up way too much. But the way the Marlins are right now, they're probably going to be sellers, and giving up two of these younger players, 25 and 26 years old respectively, I think there's a great possibility that they could make some sort of move happen, whether it is for both, but more than likely one in specific. And I want to pull up Xavier Edwards now, and he's definitely got a better batting average of 292, and specifically when it comes down to it as well, 17 stolen bases. He's a guy that's a lot more interesting, I would say, with a 718 OPS, even though I feel like Otto Lopez has had more of a proven batting skill than Xavier Edwards in specific. And the one big difference between the two here is that Xavier Edwards has one home run, a lot less power, and you see Otto Lopez has more of that pop when you're looking for it, and especially more clutch down the road. But Xavier Edwards being a guy that, not necessarily would be a leadoff for this team, but many places in the MLB would consider him a leadoff or a 1-2 hitter, wherever you want to put him, or in the bottom of the lineup. He's a very versatile hitter that you can use anywhere throughout here, but also being able to play down the middle also would be an option at third. You would have to assume, if, Eugenio Suarez was not in a possible trade, or wherever the Brewers want to go with this. I think they're given a lot of great opportunities here to be able to make some things happen. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments below here about specifically Xavier Edwards and Otto Lopez. We don't have in specific from this deal and what we're seeing from these reports of what the Brewers would be, not just willing to give up, but also what the Marlins would be willing to or wanting to get in return for two of these players. We know the Brewers are willing to go out and spend. And of course, as we look towards the pitching prospects and the pitching depth, we have a lot of it, and I would argue the most in the MLB that could be traded. So they have the leverage on a majority of the teams here in this trade. And of course, as we go down to it, we can officially confirm the Diamondbacks are now going to be sellers, getting rid of Josh Naylor. So it's a very interesting look now, especially when we see one trade happen. We normally usually see a lot more start trickling in. So I think the Brewers are going to be one of the next teams to make a move. And of course, I don't think the Brewers are going to be necessarily pushing for anything as hard as they can, but whatever they can get and whatever they're going to do, I think is the right decision. And especially at the pace they're going to be trying to do this at, it's looking like a good shape. So let me know what you think about all this stuff here in the comments below. But that is all I have in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.